notion of sharing power usually makes people uncomfortable because if we don't feel psychologically safe, then sharing power can be really risky. Empowered leaders do better. It's that simple. So there are 6 traits that I've noticed through all of my work that lets me know that the person I'm working with is an empowered leader. And it also shows up when I'm working with people who aren't empowered, because these are the things that catch them. So where do we start? The first is not having the need to dominate others. So empowered leaders don't have to dominate people in either meetings or in conversations. They don't have to be seen as the best or most powerful in the room. Because they're empowered, they allow there to be room that other people take up. They foster the empowerment of other people, and so they don't need to dominate or control others. The other thing that they do is they accept influence. They don't see influence as a sign they didn't know something or understand something or a weakness. They understand that by accepting influence, they also prepare other people to accept influence from them. So they see the relationship with their leadership and with others as something that's reciprocal, not just a one-way street. They can manage comfort with uncertainty. So nobody really loves uncertainty unless we think that the outcomes are only going to be positive, then maybe we do. But most of the time, we like a level of certainty. But an empowered leader is able to work with that tension of uncertainty and not become overly involved or distracted by the need to be certain about something, especially something that can't be made into certainty. So they can accept that some things have a tension of uncertainty, and they work with that, and therefore are able to continue leading and moving forward without letting their anxiety hijack them or their perception of the situation. They share their power with others. And this is an interesting one because in lots of organizations with lots of leaders, the notion of sharing power usually makes people uncomfortable, because if we don't feel psychologically safe, then sharing power can be really risky. But empowered leaders understand that to make and have the best impact and outcome, they need to share power with others. And they do it in ways and with people that they've built trust with, that they've built ways of working with, that psychological safety and loyalty exists. So they do it with certain people because they've built up to that point. But at that point, they can share power and they can bring transparency to the table without needing to lord power or control over other people, or without trying to withhold information or knowledge from people. They are willing to be proven wrong. And this is a really interesting one. The reason they're willing to be proven wrong is that their ego isn't what's leading them. They have a genuine sense of self, and so empowered leaders are able to understand that it's okay that they make mistakes, and not just that it's okay, it's going to happen. It's part of being human. So they don't have an unrealistic image of themselves that they're selling to other people, so they can be far more comfortable and realistic, and therefore when they make mistakes they can learn from them and they can adapt their behavior and grow, as opposed to seeing it as a character flaw within them. They're willing to do the right thing even when it's difficult. And this one's hard. They know the moments where they're putting their neck on the line. They're thinking things through and critically thinking about the bigger picture and maybe the initial task or goal. And they weigh up when it's important to stand by their morals and do what's right, and when and how they're going to move forward when that isn't as clear to them. So empowered leaders are able to take a stand when it's required or when it's important, but they're also able to critically think about that so that they can have an impact on the people around them and the outcome that they want, but they can do it without it being at a risk to their own relationship with themselves or their own values and their own vision for their work and their role. So why would you do it, right? So I've gathered 6 reasons why becoming an empowered leader will improve your professional life. 1 is that you'll be way more comfortable with conflict and power struggles. You won't be so invested in them. You won't lose sleep over them. You'll understand that there is a tension that will occur in conflict, and that there's a tension that will occur sometimes when there's a power struggle, but you don't have to lose yourself or your sleep to them. You'll develop more insight, so you'll be able to problem solve and solution find with a lot more ease and comfort. You'll manage uncertainty with less anxiety, just like I described, which will make you better at your decision making. So you're going to be seen as a safe pair of hands. you'll use your power to achieve better outcomes rather than competing with others or getting distracted by office politics. You're going to keep your eye on the prize and keep your mind towards the strategy and the area that you're aiming for. You're going to make friends of failure. You're not going to see failure as a definition of you or as something to bruise your ego. You're going to see that it's part of understanding something in more depth, and it's part of developing a way forward that is more effective than you'd originally imagined. You're going to make difficult decisions with more confidence because you will be able to lean on your values, your strategy, and your vision for your leadership, because empowered leaders know where they are, they understand the landscape of where they're working, and they know how to hold on to themselves in difficult times and how to position themselves well in political climates without losing their own values or their own sense of self. So you have these 6 benefits by becoming an empowered leader, and that isn't even considering the impact it has on your team or those that follow or that look up to you for role modeling. When you're an empowered leader and you're displaying those traits and you're getting that relief, the people around you will feel more self-assured and will be able to trust you more because they can see that you make decisions not on the fly, not based on how you're feeling in the moment, but based on a solid set of values, a solid set of leadership practices, and a leadership strategy that makes sense to people. Even if you don't describe it, they have a sense of the decision making that you're going to make and how you're going to make it. Because you're empowered, you're not being swayed all the time by quick fixes or, quick wins. You're able to take a bigger picture and also to make decisions in the moment that are not only good for you but good for other people, which builds up that psychological safety, that the trust that's required within teams. So if you aren't sure from that list whether you're an empowered leader or not, or you want to talk about becoming more of an empowered leader, you can book a free leadership consultation with me. The link's below, and we can discuss what you might need to do and what your options are to develop your empowerment, which will present as greater self-confidence, a greater ability to make decisions, improved sense of self within the organization, and a clearer brand within your organization about who you are and what your leadership is. We can discuss all of that on a free leadership consultation and what your next steps are. So click on the link below and book your free consultation.